Is Bernie Sanders a sexist? Well, MSNBC reporter slash news actor Joy Reid appears to think so. So I'm going to take you through a series of tweets that, I wasn't going to cover this, but it just got so ridiculous and so weird that I thought it was a pretty interesting story. So let me try and go over what's gone on the past few days on Twitter and just help you understand how Joy Reid is just, I don't know, a little off. Something's going on, but let me get into it. So it all started on November 29th with this tweet. The voice of God in media and politics has been male and mostly white for forever. These men are given not just moral authority, but the power to shape the national narrative. We're watching that authority crumble as we learn how many have used their power to press for sex. Okay, so far so good. I completely agree with Joy that power in media and politics has mostly been male and white. So no problems there. But then we get down to this tweet in this Twitter thread. So here's what she says. There are literally no credible national authority figures right now. One could argue that Barack Obama is, but even he can't reach a percentage of the population that has become hardcore ethno-nationalist. Certainly the current president isn't one. And then Jeffrey Cawthorn replied with, Bernie Sanders? Then Joy Reid replies, I get that he has a hardcore following, but his own attitudes towards women, from his weird early writings to his physical dismissal of women in his presence, including his own wife, make that an incredibly dubious prospect. What the hell are you talking about? So, when I saw these tweets, I didn't get angry. I just laughed because there's no evidence here. There's nothing to back up these claims. This is just farting in the wind. There is nothing here. So, anyways, Jane Sanders caught word of this, and she replied to having her name used in Joy Reid's tweet as Bernie Sanders dismissing her. So quoting Joy Reid, Bernie's wife Jane replied, I didn't answer your biased reporting about Bernie during the last 2 years, Joy Reid, but don't ever use me to demean my husband. I'm very happy and very proud to be Bernie's wife. Your perception couldn't be more wrong. Have you ever talked with him? You've never spoken with me. So that should have been the end of it. Jane Sanders called out Joy for her lies, and then we all move on. But no. So the next day, in a reply to a Young Turks post about this exchange, Joy Reid said this. If she likes it, I love it. I assure you I will never even tangentially defend Jane again. Okay, so before I get to the rest of the tweet there where she links to a really questionable article, Joy Reid apparently thought that she was defending Jane. She was defending Jane by saying that Bernie Sanders dismisses her. This is, what is this? What are we even talking about? Like, what is going on? So I'll show you what Joy thinks is going on. So this article that Joy tweeted out is from an alt-right website. Sanders' shooing wife during victory speech slammed as evidence of sexism. So this writer, Ashley Ray Goldenberg, is an alt-right writer. As you can see from her great hat, Make America Great Again, and her amazing articles like this one, Hate Crimes Against Whites Spiked in 2016. Okay, so Joy Reid cited an alt-right writer as her evidence of Bernie Sanders' sexism. So, but how about the actual evidence? So what is the actual evidence in that article? Because maybe, sure, it's an alt-right writer, but doesn't mean that their evidence is wrong. Well, let's watch the video that she links to here. In a tweet, she said, here's the tape again. But again, I withdraw my implied defense of Jane. So I found the actual source of the video that she links to, which is from a rally in Madison, Wisconsin in 2016. And watch what happens.
Extraordinary turnout, Madison. Thank you so much for being here today. Don't stand there. Let me begin by thanking.
So that's Joy's evidence that Bernie Sanders is a sexist, and he dismisses his wife because he asked his wife to move aside because he throws his hands when he's talking and maybe didn't want to smack her in the face. But you know what? No, maybe Joy's right. Bernie asking Jane to not stand there, that means he's now a sexist and he dismisses his wife, and Bernie feels like he's this dominant man and Jane is just this little character that stands beside him and doesn't serve a purpose. I don't understand what Joy's argument is. I have no idea. I don't know what that shows. Now, if Joy Reid applied this same standard to everyone, then I could understand the argument a little bit more. Maybe she just has this really weird bar for what counts as sexism. But look at her defense of Al Franken and the sexual misconduct allegations being made against him. So a week ago, Joy Reid retweeted Ariana Huffington, who said that Al Franken did not grope her in those images that were going around. So whatever, no problem there. But when we get down in that thread, she then tweets, "Yes, I was siding with Ariana and criticizing the post for shabby reporting. Frankly, I feel the same about the anonymously sourced HuffPost Franken tale." And what Joy is referring to there is this HuffPost article that states, "2 more women accuse Senator Al Franken of inappropriate touching." Okay, so let me get this straight. Al Franken is accused of sexual misconduct, of inappropriate touching. There's a pattern of behavior of him touching women's asses while taking a picture with them. 2 women come out. Joy Reid doesn't believe it. Even though, it's in HuffPost and there is a clear pattern of behavior here, nope, Joy is not convinced. But show Joy a video from an alt-right website from a year ago where Bernie Sanders is waving his hands around and asks his wife to move aside, likely because he would have accidentally smacked her in the face with his hands because he talks like this a lot. That is sexist. So, look, at this point, I did this video because I think it's important to call out just this insanity that comes from media from places that people trust. A lot of people trust MSNBC. I know if you just watch YouTube or you just get your news online, that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. A lot of people trust everything MSNBC says, and especially people like Joy Reid. They trust her. So when she puts out tweets like this saying that Bernie Sanders is sexist, a lot of people don't even look at the source. They just want to believe her and that's it. But when you actually look into it, Joy Reid is using a video from an alt-right website from a year ago, and that is damning. That shows damning behavior for Bernie Sanders. But Al Franken, a story that clearly shows a pattern of behavior, no, gotta defend Al Franken. Would she be saying the same if this was Bernie Sanders, who was being accused of inappropriate touching? So, I'm kind of worried about Joy Reid. I'm worried about her health. And, I'm half joking here, but I don't understand what's going on. At this point, she's either sick or she's getting paid. It's one or the other, because this doesn't make any sense. Can you imagine somebody tweeting evidence to Joy Reid of something and them using an alt-right blog to do so? Well, how would Joy react? But she does it to other people. Oh my God, that's real evidence of sexism. So you know what? I have nothing else to say here. I think this is pretty clear what's going on. I mean, the motives aren't that clear, but the actual reality of the stuff she tweeted and Bernie Sanders being a sexist is clearly not true, at least from the evidence that she provides here. So I got nothing left to say. Just when you watch these news actors, just keep a clear mind and actually look into the stuff they say, because even though it's coming from somebody that's on television, it doesn't mean they're right.